All
Morning,
right.
Brad.
The topic of the week is don't overpromise or underdeliver. So, you know, don't tell a client you can do something when you know very well you can't. Uh, does anyone else have anything to add on that?
Well, you may need to adjust promises occasionally too,
Yeah.
especially if they're projected out for a long time because things happen. So
Mm-hmm.
just keep people informed, really, too, is part of
Yeah.
the need.
So we've gone 278 days without a recordable injury and 16 days without a first aid. So we're doing good there. Let's keep being safe out there. Today I just wanted to talk a bit about wood chipper safety. Um, some of the most common injuries are getting caught in moving parts, eye injuries from flying debris and chips, being struck by the limbs or branches when they're being placed in the chipper, and back injuries from lifting. Some safe operation. Feed the branches from the side. It keeps you farther from the moving parts and closer to the emergency stop. And if a branch ends up rolling or something when it's in there, because sometimes they do that, it won't easily strike you or hit you. Um, if you can use a push stick to, you know, feed in the branches and debris. It keeps you again away from the material going in, and it keeps you from getting caught. Catching a glove or a piece of clothing. Um, let keep your hands and feet outside of the feed chute, obviously, keeping you away from the moving parts. Let go of the material as soon as it goes in, and step away to ensure that nothing is getting caught on that. Um, again, uh, feed branches butt end first. Uh, this ensures that the widest point can go into the machine. Um, it keeps things from getting caught in there and jamming up the machine, and helps with the kickback. If something does end up getting caught, it's going to be that first initial bit, not halfway down the branch. Uh, Lay shorter pieces on top of the material, and don't feed in any loose leaves with small sticks. Just toss those in your chippings. Never leave the chipper unattended. You got small children around sometimes, or just public around the job site. Turn it off when you're inspecting it. Make sure all the guards are in place. They're there to keep you safe. When unclogging the chipper, make sure it's off and disabled, because once you get that clog out, it's gonna keep doing what it was doing, and if you got a hand or an arm in there, it's not gonna care. Keep your work area clear of tripping hazards. You don't want to trip and fall into the machine or something. And when possible, use the buddy system. Let someone know what you're doing, when you're doing it. You want someone there just in case something happens to be able to hit that emergency stop button. Uh, Protective equipment and clothing. Close fitting clothing, nothing baggy that can get caught, no jewelry that hangs. Long work pants, non-slip work boots. You want to have sure footing. Safety glasses and a face shield, a hard hat, and hearing protection, because these things can be quite loud. So, I've been seeing a little bit of use out there with chippers, so I thought I'd go over a little bit of the safety. And that's all I got for you this morning.
Okay, yeah, it looks like working on a level surface makes sense too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be too cautious with these things.
Now every year there's always something that happens with these things.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't share any videos with us here.
No, I looked at a few and I was like, I can't do that.
Right, yeah. All right, I'll share the screen, my screen. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yep.
Good, okay. So just for announcements this week, a quick one on the Morgan Stanley Financial Advisors. They'll be here at ECI on March 31st. And there'll be half-hour meetings available from 8:30 to noon for employees to discuss their 401k accounts, deferrals, investments, etc. Contact Ursula for an appointment, and I have her email and her phone number there. The primary care wellness program, the information and the link. Oh, I got to put my photos on your download pictures here real quick. Try that again.
Looks like he might be a bit froze.
Did I lose you guys?
Yeah, for a little bit there.
I didn't even know it. I'm like, hey, anyone hear me out there? All right, let's try that again. I think it was when I changed to download my photos or the images on the email. Okay, let's see. I got to go through this again. All right, open this up. Zoom. Okay, do you see my email? Maybe not. See the email?
Yeah, we see it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so we have Ken and Jeremy and Brad and maybe others here. Want to take over? Or I'll move the screen, you guys narrate?
Sure. Right now, we're looking at your whole email, Ken, not just the one
Oh.
email.
Okay, let me try to reshare. Usually I have this all set up, so now when it fell apart on me, I had to backtrack. Oops, that's not the one I'm looking for. Try again. Windows. Is that the right one?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll slide down here to get this the statue that you guys saw out there. A couple of them. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so you know, ConExpo's got a ton of great equipment out there. We're just going to touch on a little bit of it because we'd be here all week to talk about it. These are just some statues that they put up in front of one of the entrances to the outdoor areas. Yeah, it's kind of like the first thing you see.
Yep.
So one of the coolest, most applicable things I saw out there was that Trimble has a new product called SiteWorks Machine Control, and it's very similar to Earthworks in how it operates, which is our 3D machine control, and then SiteWorks is what's in our rovers. SiteWorks Machine Control is a simpler version of Earthworks, and they're claiming more cost effective. They aren't actually giving us a price yet, but unlike Earthworks, there's no cab kit, no heads on the machine, and then the technology in the machine is a lot simpler. SiteWorks takes parts from the rover and puts them on the machine. So there'd be a bracket on top of the stick. You take the head from the rover, put it up on the stick and the data collector and put it in the cab for the display. And you have grade control along with a sensor on the bucket linkage. One thing I guess that you lose from that is the ability to use the autos function, which I think we don't really use that much anyway here. So
Kind of makes you wonder why they didn't do this. Makes you wonder why they didn't start this way from the beginning, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, one of their big things is the autos and how, you know, you can dig into the cut and then it won't allow you to go below the cut. So you don't over dig.
Yep.
And they also say that you don't see the excavator on the monitor, but I don't know if that's really super applicable.
Yep.
So there you can see they've got it mounted with a magnet mount for the show, but it wouldn't be a magnet mount for an actual machine. And then you can see the bucket sensor on the linkage. That'd be the only cable going back to the machine. Some other cool technology it had. There's a bunch of companies out there that provide hydraulic quick couplers that for excavators that also couple the hydraulic and electric ports at the same time that the bucket couples. You know, a lot of times you'll see them paired with tilt rotators between the coupler and the attachment. Those can go in and out, and you know, you can run your hydraulic tools right from the cab. And then there was also a bunch of companies that had these small crawler mounted spider cranes. Spider was just one of the companies. We used a spider crane in Stowe to hang steel inside a building. And they also had them with buckets on them so you could use them for, you know, man lift work. I thought it'd be cool one cool application would be, you know, working on traffic signals from sidewalks so that we don't have to get into traffic. They had some pretty good horizontal and vertical reach. This one little model had, it says 35 inches of travel width, and then of course you put the outriggers out and they're like 10 feet wide. They go up 90 feet and horizontally 50 feet.
Pretty interesting. Can you convert those? They're either a man basket or a little crane, right?
Yeah, they had different configurations.
Yep.
And then they had another grout plant company out there called Intric. Had similar capabilities to our ChemGrout plant, our bigger one. It seemed to be easier to operate, clean, and maintain. They had a lot of stainless parts. Things were a little bit more compact. And they had the option to pair it with a super sack size silo. So instead of handling the 94-pound bags, you could use a tote of cement at a time. I think that would also just help keep things cleaner.
I would think that for the stainless, I would think that the grout is easier to clean off the stainless, huh? I would assume.
Here's the grout plant. That's where you feed it and operate it from.
So that pipe coming out is you insert the boom from the super sack
Yep.
silo.
Exactly. And if you don't want to do that,
Right.
you can take, if you want to load it with bags, you can just take that lid off and put a bag breaker in.
Yep.
There's a silo.
Yep. Oh, we got a fork attachment there that in the bottom. That's pretty good. I didn't notice that before. Nice. Okay.
So one of the products I saw that was very applicable to our work was a trench shoring safety handrail system. This is a company that tested, designed, and has an OSHA approved stamp on a clampable handrail system that clamps to the top of a trench box or sheet piling. With all the SOE that we install, we're always left with a handrail system that we either got to install it many times or it gets hit and damaged, and it's a maintenance item. So this can clamp on to a trench box that we have or a sheet piling, and then it's easily removable if you had to swing a load over or your counterweights were swinging over it. So the main components are that red clamp, an aluminum handrail, and then a section of steel grating that can be installed, which is optional, but it's a nice feature to it.
Yeah, I like that.
So you can see here, we're lifting it up and we're like, it's super light. Like we were expecting it to be heavy and clunky, but one guy could pick up a whole section and install it or remove it as needed. One of the other cool things that I saw in particular were these self-propelled module transporters. A lot of the big iron out there, it's awesome to see, but you're like, oh, I'm never going to get to use that on a job. But these are one thing that we're actually looking at using on the Royalton project that Ken is running this year. So it's basically a high or a heavy hauling trailer with a power pack in the belly of it. And there's combinations of trailers, but they run 6 axles and they're hydraulic driven with the ability to turn the wheels 135 degrees. So you can go sideways, forward, crab steer, or do a carousel and spin it around any given point to position your load.
You could parallel park your tractor trailer.
You certainly could. And they have about 27 inches of travel to accommodate different terrain. And this is a fall arrest system. It's a trailer mounted 5-person anchoring system. And one of the cool things is you can travel this system up and down like a guardrail on an interstate bridge. There's a friction drive wheel system. So if you're constantly moving down, installing guardrail or doing some work over the edge or near the edge, you just simply crab it along. You can keep all your guys attached to it. It was interesting. This is certified to also act as a retrieval system for somebody that has fallen. So one of the big things on a lifeline or horizontal lifelines, you have to have a retrieval system other than a hydraulic excavator or hydraulic power, but somehow they have this as a approved retrieval device. So you could just kind of pick the man up and swing him back to safety.
So the controls are at the unit or they're remote controlled?
Controls at the unit.
Yep.
Very simple, just towable design.
One pretty cool piece of equipment that I looked at was the Aquajet Hydro Demolition Unit. It's a company that makes hydro demolition units that are similar to the Conjet unit that we used in the fall of 22. These units have like an improved lance pattern that's in the shape of a figure 8 instead of the wave that the Conjet used. So it improves the consistency of the cut. It also, the lance stays a consistent height above the concrete instead of on each end of the travel, getting farther away from the concrete. So it improves the performance of the machine. This one also uses only 32 gallons a minute at 20,000 psi, so it uses a lower volume of water at a higher pressure. The larger of the units that we looked at had a removable mast section, so if you didn't need it, it wasn't constantly in the way. Optional extra booms that allowed the unit to work on vertical faces, overhead faces, and also boom around underneath a bridge deck if needed, while the unit was sitting on top. They make smaller portable scaffold mount units as well, that are more versatile. You can bring them with you wherever you need to. So they're pretty cool units.
Yep, look cool too.
Seems like there's a lot of scratch and patch jobs coming out that
Yep,
could be applicable.
and this is with that same unit, the cutting head on the unit, or what?
So this
this
is the
different?
portable scaffold mount unit.
Okay,
So you'd run it off the same pump system. It's got the
Yep.
It's obviously a smaller shroud and a smaller head, but it's got the same working pressures as the large unit. So
yeah, so once you have a pump, because a pump is probably more of an investment than the little unit, isn't it?
yeah, the pump is very pricey.
Yep.
That's the most expensive part of the whole system.
They aren't small, as these units are.
No. Another cool product that we saw was thermoform pipeliners. This is a flexible folded PVC product. So it's a fold and form system, meaning that the liner comes folded up so that it easily sits inside of the hose pipe. It's spooled off of a reel and fed into the pipe, and then the liner is pressurized with steam, and the steam softens the pipe, and then the pressure of the steam conforms the liner to the inside of the pipe that you're lining, and then it cools, hardens, and it forms a new liner. It's minimally smaller than the hose pipe, so you're not losing a lot of capacity in lines that you're relining. Obviously, it's trenchless. No need to dig up the pipes. They offer it from 4 inches to 36 inches and multiple different dimension ratios, depending on what you need. The strength that is needed for the application. It's a cool product.
Yeah, for sure.
There were 2 different companies that produced very similar automated tire wash systems. So these systems are basically a graded system. You would pull a truck onto the system, and they have a bunch of pipes underneath the grates that spray water at high pressure, multiple different angles, so that it gets the entire undercarriage of the vehicle. They've also got sidebar options as well for getting the body of the vehicle. But we're always struggling, obviously, with the salt on our vehicles and just maintaining that. This is a cool product to help with that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see these things more and more. Well, thanks, guys. That was great. I know you saw a lot more than that. One of the couple of things I noticed from your photos, and we've talked about briefly, was the sandbag setup, so that you can have multiple sandbags on a bucket on a skid steer, right? To make it like really easy and fast to make sandbags. Then there was I saw the portable welder. I think Brad sent the picture. Portable welder that's a cordless, right? DeWalt batteries or something like that. And a bunch of other things. Oh, the other thing I liked was the toolbox or the tool bag hanger on the man lift. So all good stuff, even big stuff and small stuff. There's some just great ideas out there that you guys got to check out. And I got this old photo here. Look at these guys at ConExpo 1981 in Houston before it came to Vegas. That's me on the left. Don't I look goofy? And there we are sporting man purses before they became popular, right? Okay, well, thanks guys for all the information, and certainly anyone has questions, they should check directly with any of the guys who went to ConExpo. There's great photos. You got a bunch of literature, and I'm sure a lot of website connections to look at the products in more detail, and also contacts with the suppliers. So thanks again, Austin. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Everyone be safe out there today, and let me know if you watch in a group setting. Have a good day.
You too.